Hello and welcome back to my channel, and it's another day and it's another GPU test. Now, for the second time in a span of a week, my 1080 Ti is out of its lovely nesting place and it's on my desk, still warm, again. And here's the reason why. As you already probably read the description, we're going to be looking at a 3070 Ti. So it's kind of going to be almost like an unboxing video, but not really. For the simple reason I did manage to pull it out prior. Let's just have a tiny look of the box contents. I'm not going to go through the specs and whatnot. What I do want to go through is my absolute and utter disappointment on YouTube platform and so-called influencers. Reason being, when you search is 3070 Ti a good card, the answer is gonna be no. They say that it's overpriced for its lack of power, it's not really an upgrade, you should wait, you should spend almost $2,000 for like 3080 Ti or something like that. And 3070 Ti apparently it's just shit. Okay? This is what really overwhelms my feelings as a human being, because you know it's very easy to talk shit about GPUs if you're not the one buying them, you know. If Nvidia sends you a card and you review it and you say it's terrible, it kind of reminds me of Top Gear, you know, those old guys. They get a brand new car from the factory, 0 miles on it, and they drive in a car that costs like £200,000 and they go like, my ass hurts in this chair, I would expect more for this money. You didn't even spend a penny, mate. Know what I mean? So every time I watched quite a few of those videos where they were constantly, literally non-stop shitting on this card. And I was like, wow, must be cool that you just, you know, get a bunch of GPUs and you're not this regular everyday guy just, you know, wanting to have some fun. Dear influencers, do you even remember last time you had fun? You know what fun means? It means that you get the thing you can afford that is also available and you are actually happy with it. How about that? Surprising, right? So, before we jump into lifting out the box contents, rant over, I promise. Let's take a look what it says on the box. So it does says about the cooling. This is an ASUS TUF gaming version, so to be fair, I'm not really worried about the cooling. TUF gaming cards are pretty tough, pun intended, but so far, as much as I've seen around, they're actually pretty decent in terms of thermals and everything else. Durability, I'm not even worried about that. Software, well, we all know the 3000 series come with its own NVIDIA's broadcast system in place that's incorporated in a GeForce experience, and everything else is just as your regular thing. So what we will have is HDMIs and display ports and maybe something else. So the key features is, probably you guys can actually read it and I don't have to. So I'm just gonna leave it here for a second. Excuse my hand shaking. I still don't know how they make these reviews with one hand, you know, just holding their phone or camera or whatnot. So yeah, biggest takeaway is GDDR6X graphics memory. That's supposed to be much faster. And that's pretty much it. PCI Express Gen 4, maybe. You know, everything else is kinda nice to have and great. Anyway, now that we got this out of the way, let's lift out this GPU. I'm just gonna set it here quietly. See what's inside the box, because I can feel something below there. Okay, so we have speed setup, how to set it up. Oh, we have a Digimon card as well. TUF gaming, overclocking, heat dissipation. We saw this with the 3080 Ti as well, whatever that's supposed to be. Certificate of reliability. Sure, that's apparently all the testing certification they went through for the card, so basically QA. Good enough. Everything else. Thank you for purchasing an ASUS graphics card. Well, right back at you, I didn't do it. And quick setup guide or explanation of features. So apart from the Digimon card, nothing of real value is in here. So that means we can actually pack this all up nicely without damaging the box too much, because again, you know how it is in this channel. We will need to give stuff back to the rightful owners. Let's take a look at the GPUs themselves. Let's put them side by side. Again, the 1080 Ti and this. Honestly, lengthwise, they are literally the same, which is weird because EVGA with their 600 watt cooling times 3 is pretty long card, but these cards are, I must say, almost, maybe. Let's just put these actually one by one. I don't know, honestly, it looks the same. In terms of the width, so actually I did my research. 1080 Ti is a 2-slot card. I don't know if I can make this nice comparison. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Look at this thick boy in comparison to the 1080 Ti. So yeah, clearly. So what we have is also 2 4-pin connectors, well, 2 8-pin connectors to be fair, I still counting 4s. Silly me. That's pretty much all there is. All nice and shiny like. So yeah, 1080 Ti goes away. Close up. Let's swap this bad boy around, see what we actually have. So it does says HDMI here, HDMI and 3 display ports. So we have 2 HDMI ports, which is great. So if you have still HDMI monitor or second HDMI instead of display port, you can hook it up, which is great, probably for streaming. And backplate is as we expected. Hole in the back, as pretty much I would say almost every single 3000 series card, or this is kind of a reference card to before, not NVIDIA's OG. I remember the problems with these chips right here at the first edition of the 3070 and 80s, and apparently it was terrible. We do have performance mode and quiet mode, whatever that's supposed to mean. Obviously we're gonna leave it on performance mode. And we need to remove protective film before use, obviously because the backplate is gonna get very hot and sweaty and heavy and everything else. Apart from that, the build quality, nah, I don't know. It's built okay, but weight-wise for sure, the 1080 Ti weighs more than this. That's absolutely, like, this you can lift with one hand like no problem. 1080 Ti will actually require you to do some workout for that. Apart from that, everything else is looking fine. So, as you know, this is a non-biased channel, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna slot this in, pair it up with an i5 96K, everything on stock, no overclock, and we're gonna go and compare 3 games in 4K ultra settings straight off the bat. Number 1 of the games I'm trying to actually remember is Horizon Zero Dawn. It's gonna go 4K. Second one will be, actually I forgot which ones I played. Metro Exodus in 4K. And the third one will be Modern Warfare Campaign in 4K. Now, not only are we going to be doing this in 4K, we're going to be using the cool feature, the DLSS, in all 3 titles, because they support it. Horizon Zero Dawn supports it, Exodus supports it, and Warfare supports it. So we're going to see how much frames we're getting with 1080 Ti, because it doesn't have DLSS, but it does have 11 gigs of VRAM, and this bad boy only has 8. This is a 3000 series card, and that is, well, 10 series, well, 10,000 series card. You kind of get the point. And we'll see who's the winner. And is this card really so bad that don't buy it and everything, and beware. And before you buy videos that are getting millions of likes, millions of views, and those guys, so-called influencers, are having millions of subscribers that are taking their word like a law, or maybe skipping out on the wrong thing, specifically if it's affordable. Last time I checked, actually, you can snag this one off from Amazon around 600-ish, 650-ish pounds, which is roughly 720, I would guesstimate, dollars. No idea, but yeah. Again, 3000s, and it's not a regular 3070, it's a 3070 Ti. So, you know, I know there's a meme about 3000 series, the Ti means tiny improvement. like 5-10% of more power and whatnot, and apparently this is very power hungry card due to that. Well, due to memory, to be honest. Apparently that is the biggest power consumption here. I do not know, I do not care, I don't read the numbers, okay? I don't care about the clock speeds, I don't care about the clock boosts, because when it comes to all those influencers, which is really cool, there are so many missing things to make an informed decision. First of all, what kind of motherboard they're running, what kind of BIOS version they're running, what kind of RAM they're running, what kind of RAM timings they're running. All of that matters when you do benchmarks, instead of just putting something on a screen and calling it a day and then saying, oh my god, NVIDIA, why did you release this card? Yeah, I'm not buying this. I'm putting this into a i5 96K, 16 gigs of DDR4, 3200 megahertz DDR4 memory actually, and that's about it. And games running off from NVMe, and everything's in stock. All the description of my PC is actually in the channel description on, well, my channel, to be fair. And you can see it, and that's what we're going to be doing. So no fancy mumbo jumbo numbers, we're just going to go straight to the business and see how it goes. Also, I'm talking for 11 minutes. Somebody stop me. Let's roll. So, to start this off, let's just do Horizon Zero Dawn first. So what we're going to do is obviously 4K native, no upscaling, unlimited frames, and vertical sync off. Obviously, in terms of quality, actually my bad, I forgot about that. Ultimate quality ultra. So this is 1080 Ti, don't forget. So you're gonna run a benchmark real quick, and yeah, as you might have figured it out, we're gonna do exactly the same settings, but with 3070 Ti. You know, it's just curious for me how people are so quick to jump into conclusions about GPUs, and I don't know, there's so many things missing. But let's just watch this benchmark real quick, and see how much we're gonna end up with the score for this. So as you can see, even with 1080 Ti, which is not a 4K card, not by a long shot, we are pretty much ultimate quality getting about 40 frames. So I would say anything that is above console level, which is 30, is absolutely playable. And to be fair, as on my streams previously when I was playing this game, and we were playing in 4K as well, this game, well, initially came out on console, so there's obviously is a graphical setting that is actually original. If you set it up on original, you're getting above 60, simple as. The biggest problem for this game was on the day 1 launch, prior to the patch, which was the day 1 patch, almost, well, the day 1 patch, that's a strong word for it, which kinda did give a bit of a improvement over the performance here, but nevertheless, as you can see, this is the all-famous 1080 Ti, stock. By the way, not overclocked, so I don't know, you can see that the 10 gigs of video memory being used, that's all the textures here. This is what the backbone of this frame is. I'm not sure how the 3070 Ti will handle it, but I do believe that with the newer GPU, I'm pretty sure there's some magic behind the hardware detection for the game, and it will adjust something to allocate the memory pool a little bit better, or we're just gonna take a little bit from the RAM. So the RAM is being used, 10 gigs. I'm actually gonna make a note of that right now, so we can clearly see that. And let's note down the video memory as well as 10 gigs. So it's 10 out of 10 being used for Horizon Zero Dawn in 4K. ultimate quality. So I wonder what we can actually get with 3070. And the results are in, and we're averaging out at 43, which you know, some dips here and there. So the minimum ones we're getting is 32, the maximum is 77. Ultimate quality 4K, no vertical sync, no, you know, additional things, so we're getting 43. Can we beat it with 3070 Ti? Let's go find out. And here we are with 3070 Ti. Let's just double check all the settings are still what we actually want them to be. So 4K native, we're gonna be using NVIDIA's DLSS, obviously. Upscale, well, upscale quality, it's not exactly upscale, or, well, DLSS kinda is downscale and then upscale, but you know, let's not go into technicalities. We're gonna be using balance, so there's quite a few things you can do. You can put performance or alter performance. I think balanced is the best of both worlds. Everything else is gonna be exactly as we left. Vertical sync is off. Graphics, ultimate quality. So let's run the benchmark and see what we have. On 1080 Ti, we were getting 10 gigs of video memory usage, 10 gigs of system RAM usage, and 43 frames at the end of the benchmark. So let's see how terribly this "don't buy this card, wait it out, it's useless" runs. I'm really keen to see this, because this is the reason why I really do not like the fact that we have put our lives in the hand of very select people, so-called influencers, that are influencing our decisions and making profit for other companies, because I don't know, they just paid it for it, to be fair. Look at this terrible card, right? This absolutely useless card, this useless edition from NVIDIA, is running at 90 frames. I'm not gonna count 2, 3 up and down, that is fine. First of all, I'm also recording this in 4K quality. I know you guys gonna be watching this in 2K because, well, I need to stitch all this stuff together, and honestly 4K file would be like more than 100 gigs, to be fair. I just want to show you this. You can run this test by yourself. This is an i5 96K, not overclocked, so stock, and 3070 Ti, stock without an overclock, manual. It comes with an overclock from the factory. And this is what we get. So I'm not even gonna wait until the end. Well, we will wait till the end, but I'm gonna mark it down as 90. That is, well, to be fair, more than 100%. That's like 101% increase over the 1080 Ti in 4K. This is what this is about. You can look at your memory clocks and boost clocks and everything else all day long. Actual game performance is a completely different thing. Fair enough, this is a synthetic benchmark. I do believe we're gonna have a little bit of time to quickly launch the game itself, see how it runs, and if we're getting anywhere near this, even if we're getting 60 or 60 plus, I'm gonna be happy camper, because this is the performance you get in comparison. And I do know a lot of people say, hey, but 1080 Ti, it's a monster card and everything. I agree. I have very warm feelings towards 1080 Ti, and I really do not want to get rid of it at any point. But this is the reality. This is the future. This is the upgrades, the software, the hardware, the people are making this. And obviously, if you can afford, you can go for the 3080 Ti, you can go for 3090. You can wait for the next NVIDIA gen, which is the 4000 series, which apparently gonna blow out the third 3000 series out of the water. But in comparison, in my opinion, when it comes to the NVIDIA's tiers, and you know it happened before, 1060, 1070, 1070 Super, 1080, 1080 Ti. Same with the 20 series, 2060, 2070 Super, 2080, 2080 Ti. Same with the 3000 series, 3060, 3070, 3070 Ti, 3080, 3080 Ti, 3090. It's always been made because of a specific requirement of the user and the budget. Now, but the problem nowadays is we're being scalped, okay? Everything is being scalped. You can't get your card on a retail price because everyone is mining like crazy. And when they say, you know, oh, we cannot do anything about it, you can clearly see the mining rigs being sold out. So it is how it is. So there we go. Average frames is 95. So minimum is 20. Fair enough, probably the start of the benchmark. Maximum 165. Ultimate quality 4K. Is there anything else to discuss about this terrible card? Look at the temperature for the card. It's 52 degrees. It is less than the 1080 Ti, and my 1080 Ti is very well maintained. I dust it out, I change the thermal paste and all the stuff because I take care of my things. This is straight out of the box. Nothing's been done with it. 52 degrees, so perfect. Very good score in my opinion. Let's move over to Metro Exodus and see how that goes. And here we are. Again, 1080 Ti first and, well, Metro Exodus. I just double checked. We have everything maxed out here, so 4K extreme quality, vertical sync is off, motion blur is low, DirectX 12. RTX and ray tracing on off, obviously, because, well, 1080 Ti doesn't support that stuff. Advanced physics on, hairworks off, just to be consistent with the test with the 2070 Super. I don't see the point of hairworks, honestly, so, you know, whatever. Tessellation on, texture filtering at 4. To be fair, this, we don't even need this at 4K. In all honesty, we don't need texture filtering, but for the sake of argument, shading rate at 1. So let's just continue off exactly where we were. So we're gonna be by the fiery fields and we're gonna see how it actually goes there.
I delivered the maps to the base. Decoding them will take time, so it's too early to choose our next destination yet. Besides, we have more pressing issues right now. Most of the crew members are down due to heat and dehydration, and the Aurora needs a lot of fuel and water to move. The local kingpin, the Baron, has it all, but he's none too eager to share. Considering our desperate situation.
So what are we getting in 4K ultra settings is 38, 39, 40-ish frames. The little tiny spikes up. Obviously engaging more things here has a little bit of a effect on the frame rate, which I do believe is gonna eventually like fall behind or fall below 30 at times, which in all honesty is fully expected in my eyes. But again, for the sake of argument, yeah, I wouldn't say that this is too playable. Like, you can clearly feel it's a little bit jittery. The game feels slow, even though I would say, you know, I've played games in very low frame rates. That's not the issue. The game itself feels sluggish. So apart from Cyberpunk with 2070 Super, when even with 45 frames the game was feeling like very responsive and you wouldn't tell the difference if the metrics weren't on. In here, I don't even need the metrics to actually feel how the game... It's like heavy. It's like it's trying to push a boulder over on whichever side you're turning. It might look pretty smooth, but honestly, it almost feels like you need two hands to move the mouse. It's just resistance there. I don't know why. Apart from that, GPU usage 95%, memory 6.3 gigs of video memory being used, and the RAM is 7.4. So here we are, 37, 39. Obviously, as soon as we have some shadows and some exposure, the frames are dropping out. Not a big surprise. This is exactly what I kind of expected. So exactly the same as with the 2070 Super. We're gonna come here real quick like and just take a look. Unfortunately, Artyom is unable to run for longer than 10 seconds. This is what you get for being a fully fledged Metro Spartan. No surprise here, but I don't know. To be honest, this is not even a demanding place to be. You know, it's just force of habit, I would say. Why I'm coming here. We should be going up from there. Either way, you kind of understand what I'm trying to show you guys here. It is what it is. End of the day, this is the actual performance of 1080 Ti. So, honestly, I really want to defend the 1080 Ti, but obvious logical reasons tell me not to, because it is how it is. Technological progress, luckily for us, goes forward, and we are getting better things made, you know? I wish to see 60 here. I wish, but you know, it's not gonna happen. Now we're gonna do exactly the same thing with 3070 Ti and see how much we're gonna get there. See you in a sec. And here we are with 3070 Ti in Metro Exodus. So what do we have to beat? Exodus frame rate for 1080 Ti was 40 till 43 in 4K. So let's just take a look at the options, double check everything again. 4K native, quality extreme, vertical sync off, DirectX 12, NVIDIA RTX on. Ray tracing is gonna be off for obvious reasons because we know that there's a very huge penalty for using it. And as I explained, I'm after DLSS. Hairworks is going to be off, advanced physics is on, distillation on, texture filtering that we should not be using, but we're going to use anyway because why not? Let's go and see how much this very terribly bad card is going to get.
The maps to the base. Decoding them will take time, so it's too early to choose our next destination yet. Besides, we have more pressing issues right now. Most of the crew members are down due to heat and dehydration, and the Aurora needs a lot of fuel and water to move. The local kingpin, the Baron, has it all, but he's none too eager to share. Considering our desperate situation and our past experience negotiating...
Moment of truth. And the moment of truth shows us 4K ultra settings in Metro Exodus with RTX off and DLSS on is giving us 70 frames to play with. Okay, I'm gonna chalk it down to, well, to be fair, I wouldn't say it's 70-ish. Not only I'm currently recording, and I keep repeating that, but I don't think you guys realize that recording takes away 5 to 8 frames. Really depends. Well, I am still recording over an NVMe drive, but it is what it is. 80 frames, the game looks fantastic. It runs in 4K. Look at the reflection on the gun. I mean, shadows probably, well, there will be a bit more shadows with RTX on, obviously, but again, full-blown 4K RTX card would be something like 3080 Ti, which is, it's been on my channel, we played around with it. Let's go for the frame drop place cave, which we can see over here, and see how we fare there. 62 frames, 63, fair enough. Let's come here. I do believe we even dropped down as low as, I don't know, with 2070 Super. I think it was like 50-ish or something. 64, no firefights here, everyone's dead already. There is some movement on the shadows nevertheless. Perhaps my untrained eye does not see the benefits of RTX and RTX off. I see moving shadows, I say it's good enough. 65 frames, 97% of usage of GPUs, 6.5 gigabytes of video memory being used. Where exactly is the issue that they are giving this card such a bad review? Look at this, it looks, wow, that is not exactly what a scope would do, but hey, I mean, if you're looking through the scope into the sun, probably you're gonna get blinded though. Realism confirmed. 54, 52 frames. Okay, so here we are with something that is clearly this game is not happy, or this card is not happy with. So 53 frames on one specific spot. However, the movement itself is not as heavy, or you don't need to fight against it as I had to do with the 1080. I can move the mouse freely. There's no more this heavy turning. Maybe because the frame rate is simply higher. So yeah, 61 degrees, so it is running much hotter than with Horizon Zero Dawn, so probably because there's simply so many things to do here. So, nevertheless, all this, ultimate quality 4K with some drops below 60, fair enough, I'm gonna take that. So, what we have is 1080 Ti getting 40, 43, and this game getting 60 plus with dips below 60. You know, I'm not even gonna complain. This is absolutely playable. Price and performance for this with an i5 96K, no hyper-threading, no overclock? You gotta be joking, this is amazing. I mean, given there's no big action on the screen, there's no huge firefights and explosions, but at the same time, how many people will be playing on ultimate quality with this? Definitely not me, but you know, just for testing purposes, I think we can clearly agree on this as an absolute win for the 3070. Okay, let's head over to Modern Warfare, see what we have there. And here we are in Modern Warfare. Obviously 1080 Ti comes first. What do you guys expect? So what you're gonna go is 4K native. Let's go for the quality, and everything is maxed out. Exactly the same settings as we used with 2070 Super. I still need to remember what was actually, apart from the film grain filming strength. I mean, no, this is just useless. Everything else is up, and ray tracing obviously is disabled because, well, the game disables it once it detects a 1080 Ti. So what you're gonna do is drop back in a Fog of War campaign, see how much we're actually gonna get, and that's about it. Real simple, like. See what frames you're gonna get. 4K, again, 1080 Ti. You have to suffer through this cutscene. Well, we don't. We can skip it. So let's see how much we're gonna be getting. I kind of think we're gonna be getting about 60-ish, and that's without DLSS. So, but we'll see. You know, real life performance, it's way better than synthetic benchmarks. And even below that, so 50-ish. So let's just run through this segment real quick, like, and we're gonna look. So I would say this is kindish 50-ish performance. So we're using 9 gigs of video memory. There we go, 52. Not too bad, in all honesty. Not too bad. Let's spot all these guys here. Whatever we need to spot. I can see some anti-aliasing shenanigans going on there, but we do not care. We have these guys over here to the left. Check out whatever that's supposed to be. Wait for the second vehicle to come in. There we go. That's all there is. Let's wait for the airstrike. See if that drops any frames. So currently we're at a pretty decent 60 frames. So there you go. Let's call it in. Go from there. This really looks cool. This is very nicely done. Well, frames did suffer a little bit. Not too much. Like we lost like what, 4 frames? 5?
Much obliged, Viking. We'll take it from here.
So let's just head out. I'm not even gonna look at the trees anymore. We already done it. It's more about to get a move on. Not even gonna wait for these guys to clear out. Let's just get on with this, you know.
Someone was playing with fire. Serves them right, hawking this chemical shit.
45 frames. So basically across Horizon Zero Dawn and Exodus on 4K Ultra, we're getting around 40-ish, 45 frames, depending on the scene. And this title does run at slightly a smidge better. You know, not like great, but it's one of those not great, not terrible things.
Surprise is not on our side, boys. Stay frosty.
We are pulling 10 gigs of video memory. Let me note that down. As VRAM, 10 gigs. And we'll see how much we can be pulling with 3070 Ti. And actually the same RAM amount as Horizon Zero Dawn. To be fair, I never really looked at it that way, but hey, here we are. Boys getting some lead. Imagine being an NPC and you do the same thing over and over again. I think there was this movie, Wreck-It Ralph or something.
Force out. We need to secure the gas before they move it.
Shit. I'm getting a tiny bit better at this now, since I played it so many times. Now I know where all the enemies are. We're gonna have a grenade, I guess. Yep. How rude of them, right? So I would say we kind of need to chalk this up to about consistent 45, because just because we are averaging out at 60 sometimes, like even now we're not really doing anything, and as you can see the frames are kind of going up and down. I would say it's fair to say we are averaging about 50-ish, but probably dropping down. So let's see how 3070 Ti does. Let's go. And here we are in our latest, last title, not the latest, which is the Modern Warfare. So let's just double check we've got everything set up. And we are, it does recognize the 3070. We are in 4K native, just making sure unlimited frame rate, all is good. No need for these two things, hate them with passion. Streaming quality normal, everything is fine. On demand is cool, these things are still off. NVIDIA DLSS, again we're gonna go with balanced, and everything is good apart from ray tracing, because again ray tracing is taking off resources, and I'm mostly, well, as I said, I'm mostly curious about DLSS performance, because ray tracing penalty, it's notorious for it, and we discovered that a long time ago, so it's not a big thing. So obviously we're gonna replay the same fucking thing. And what we are looking for is, I don't know, actually I forgot to write down the FPS, but we're gonna see if it looks or runs better. I do believe it was around 100-ish or something that sort. So let's just skip this real quick like and see how we get on.
Understood, Alex. Just locate the gas, commandeer Barker's trucks, and get off the exit for the type.
Copy, Watcher. We'll handle it.
Shiny. So obviously the DLSS does make it look a bit different, and we are getting 93-ish, 90-ish frames. So to be fair, it's not exactly that big of a difference. I might be completely wrong. Since I didn't write down the frame number, I do not know it. But goddamn, 4K ultra settings? Pfft, sign me up. Literally, this is something I've never done before. Well, to be honest, I would be lying, because we did this with 3080 Ti. But yeah, this is a very bad card, obviously, as you guys remember, because the influencers say so. They say this is useless. Don't spend your money on it. You will not get the money's worth. You are not getting the frames. Still getting some, a bit less jiggity jaggedy action coming on there, on that panel. Might be just me. The game is happily holding our hand where we need to look what we need to check. Oh, that truck is there, so the second one is here. Let's wait for the fireworks. I think we were at 60 at this point. Yeah, it jogs my memory. We had 60 frames at this exact spot, and the explosion took away 5 frames. So I think it was 60-ish with TI or whereabout, and currently we are again double that, 100. Well, not double, okay, fair enough. We are 40 frames more. So sometimes we're dipping down to 90s, fair enough, so we are 30 frames more. Why not? 30 frames more? 4K? Come on, sign me up. Come on. Yeah, we got some frame penalty right here. Okay. Okay.
Much obliged, Viking. We'll take it from here.
I mean, obviously, this is very bad card, and you should not spend money on it because it's so terrible. It's such a waste of money. You should wait, and wait again, and then you can. Then you can finally enjoy being a PC Master Race competitor or participant, because that's how it works with those influencers. They're trying to save your money by telling you do not get your card if you can get your card. Wait indefinitely until you can get something that costs you triple the price. Okay, I'm a little bit exaggerating here. Double the price. Probably 600 versus 1200 is, yeah, it's double, basically. And this is with i5-96K. This is the most budget CPU you can possibly get in your entire life, to be fair. It's not an i9 or something like that. It's just good old i5. Look at this, how beautiful the glass looks. Doesn't break as good, but hey, here we are. Come on.
Stay sharp. Blind on this breach.
He's dead. He is absolutely dead. Ow.
Force out. We need to secure the gas before they move it.
There's a second dude. Oh, here he is. Yep. Where's the grenade? Here's the grenade. There we go.
MG down.
I don't know, guys. What do you think? What do you think about this? Should we trust the influencers because they get free stuff from the manufacturer and they're still getting paid for it because even if they leave bad review? You might think, how can they still get paid if they leave a bad review of the GPU? Well, because it's called publicity. Any kind of publicity, good or bad, is still publicity. People will talk. They will investigate. They will actually, end of the day, buy into it nevertheless. And that's just how it is. I'm not saying all of them are bad. No, there's quite a few very good channels out there that have unbiased opinions, but I must say it is very hard to be not biased if you're being paid by the manufacturer to say things, you know? They have their own QA departments. This is something they probably are not telling people, that they have their own QA departments. They know the frame rates, they know the power consumption, they know the thermals, they know it all. That's why the card is on production. Then obviously you get the reference cards. That's completely different story. I'm not gonna talk about it because there's too many variables. But end of the day, like, come on, guys. Come on. If this card is not worth it, come on. Swear to God, come on. Anyway. Let's talk a little bit as an ending, shall we? So, conclusion time. What do I think about this? I think this is a pretty damn good card. It's not exactly a 3080 Ti, but at the same time it's not a 3060. You saw the performance, guys. The gains in comparison to 1080 Ti in 4K, DLSS on, it's insane. Fair enough, you can say, but hey, you played this, you know, with a 2070 Super, you were playing in Full HD and, you know, all's peachy and nice. Yeah, fair enough. 1080 Ti can still hold its own. AAA titles, Full HD, all max settings, it's gonna perform. Now, for those people who are thinking about upgrading or buying this card specifically, let's say the ASUS TUF, because I'm not gonna talk about the Zotac palettes, Gigabyte or MSI versions. Will you feel an upgrade? Yes. Will you run out of video memory? Well, not that we've seen. Considering how even, let me just quickly check my notes, with Horizon Zero Dawn, the 1080 Ti was pulling 10 gigabytes of video memory. The 3070 Ti did not. And again, this is because of the software of the game, detection, how it sees what's being played, how it optimizes. Basically, it's probably also because of the DLSS, because without DLSS, the GPU needs to load in the texture in the actual size, which will take more memory, obviously, because the texture size. With the DLSS, the textures are getting downscaled, so they don't take as much memory as if they were uncompressed, and then it's being upscaled again as an image. So technically, you are looking at a lower resolution texture which has been upscaled to the resolution you're playing on. That is, well, very not exactly accurate description of a DLSS, but you can kind of read about it and you will see that I have issues explaining myself in words, basically. So there's no wonder that we're not using exactly the same video memory with DLSS on versus a card that does not have a DLSS support. So in all things considered, again, I will remember this. I will remember those influencers. I will remember their channels. I'm not a subscriber to any of those channels because of my own reasons, basically. I'm not saying that you should not go and check them out. There is some good info from time to time, but this channel is not biased, and you guys know this. We take what we see, what we get, and we put it to the test. We don't adjust things in the background. We don't do some weird cuts. We don't do some weird graphs showing mysterious numbers. And the reason I don't trust certain YouTubers, so to say, on that platform, and I do believe it's not only on YouTube, I think it's anywhere, even like Reddit and Twitch and whatnot, you know, those... You can't really trust them because, again, the way they do things, how they present things, and how they are explaining things does not really correlate to the real life data. Like, I've had quite a few GPUs in my hands on my channel, and I've tested them out and we played. And what I'm getting with a very cheap rig, to be fair, if you look at my computer specs in a channel description, you will see it's not exactly the cheapest, but it's kind of like the very middle to low range. I'm getting better frames and everything else than full blown out PCs apparently. I mean, that doesn't make any sense because there's no way a PC with, well, basically all what's in it is unable to, or is able actually to get better frames than a $2,000 or $5,000 PC. This is, you know, it doesn't make sense. So if it doesn't make sense, then probably there is something going on. And specifically, when there was a 1080 Ti test in certain games, I made a whole video about that, how game benchmark websites are lying to you with some unreasonable low frame rates for cards just to push a sale, or, you know, be in favor of, oh, we recommend this card. You know, again, it's a whole business, right? It's not like it's one person behind it and, you know, he's scamming. It's not really a scam. It's always better technically to upgrade to something newer than to sit on an old. But again, if the old is good enough, why upgrade? And 1080 Ti specifically is not a card you should be waking up in the morning and like, oh boy, I can't wait to upgrade my GPU. Like, it's never gonna happen. Never ever. All this time with the 1080 Ti, all the games I've played, and I've played like the multiplayer, like the Warzone and co-op games, and all watching videos and doing stupid crap, I never had a hint of a thought that I need to upgrade. And this is how good the 1080 Ti performs. But when I was starting to do the research prior to getting the 3070 Ti in my hands, when I saw how bad reviews this card is getting, and people are pushed to buy a 3080 Ti or 3090 or go for 69 XT of AMD range and get the i11 or whatever CPU from Intel or the latest Ryzen, I was like, no, this is stupid. Why are you doing this? Instead of, yes, you can future-proof yourself. Fair enough. For how long? For 5 years. How much do you think your card is gonna be worth in 5 years? Right? Let's think about this logically. If I buy 3070 Ti today, and will I be okay with it in 5 years? Honestly, yes. Why? Because 1080 Ti will be fine in 5 years. Probably the 3070 Ti will not be able to play all the triple quadro A titles in 4K 60 anymore, but it will still be able to play them in 2K, and at the end of its life, it's gonna still play it in full HD. This has happened with every single GPU throughout its life cycle. So I don't really understand, unless the whole world literally just moves over to 4K gaming indefinitely, then, you know, I do not understand this. Obviously, I know some people want to have this, you know, always 4K, 8K, we have 8K TVs and whatnot. Fair enough. Push the boundaries of technology. I'm all for it. But don't mislead the people who are literally looking for advice. Anyway, I think that's enough ranting for today, and, you know, end of the day, this is what I just wanted to say. Obviously, by the way, actually, good thing I reminded myself by scrolling. There is, for 3070 Ti, apparently there is a 12GB version as well, which is very rare, and I'm not exactly sure it even exists. But I've seen some weird posts on Reddit about it. It might be a meme, it might be a joke. But I don't know. If someone offers you one, and you can confirm it's legit and manufacturers NVIDIA or whoever with the, you know, all the warranties, you might want to snatch that. Just, you know, to not feel too bad about yourself. But apart from that, come on, guys. Come on, you saw the tests. Anyway, this is all I have for you guys when it comes to 3070 Ti versus 1080 Ti, and it's definitely worth the upgrade if you can have it, if you know, you have the need for speed and you cannot really dish out about $1,500 for 3080 Ti. Sure, go for it. And as you saw, it was perfectly fine with an i5. So if you're sitting on like an i9 99K or something similar, you're gonna be absolutely fine, no bottlenecks whatsoever. Anyway, on this note, I'm gonna end this video. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.